First Wives Club, come to order.
The first time I had heard of First Wives Club was when Sherry Lansing, the head of Paramount at the time, had found the book and really, really responded to it strongly, and she wanted to turn it into a film. So she offered it to me.
Oh, it is so, it's utterly original.
It was interesting because when I was considering it and I was talking to friends all over the place, I found whenever I would tell the story to somebody, they would go, "Oh my God, that happened to me. They told me I was too old. They told me I was too young." Everybody had a story about how painful it is to be rejected, how you deal with rejection, how unfair it is. And I began to realize, wait a minute, this isn't just a small story. This is a much bigger universal dynamic here to explore. And so I said yes.
Yes! Yes! I'm in! I'm really in!
Everyone thinks of First Wives Club as this comedy. Of course, it's empowering and all that. But you have to realize that one thing that we did is the movie starts with a suicide. Stockard Channing, as Cynthia Swan, throws herself off a terrace at Park Avenue. It's a very dramatic way to begin a story, but then it gives you a place to start. And tonally, it allowed these women to galvanize into being their best selves. And that's all kind of in the book, but you have to change all that. You have to focus it. You have to show the audience these girls in college, very young, full of hopes, full of dreams, and then you can take them through their journey.
I know it's a terrible excuse for a reunion, but here we all are.
When I write, someone has to be talking in my head, in the character's voice.
Talk. Well.
And Bette Midler was talking to me the entire time I was writing Brenda. And Goldie, the bubbly, glamorous movie star, who could be better? Diane is so wonderfully real as Annie and so grounded. And the one thing that I realized as when I heard that this was going to be our triumvirate were the different qualities, the different levels of course, stardom and talent and all that, but the different essences of what these women are, what they brought to the mix, because they're so different.
Elise, you're gifted, you're talented and successful, and Brenda, you're wonderfully verbal, and I am seeing a very talented therapist. Now, we're in our prime.
When I heard it was Goldie and Bette and Diane, I said, oh, it can't get better than this. But it continued to get gooder and gooder. It was awesome. These roles, Sarah Jessica Parker, to be able to write for Maggie Smith, Bronson Pinchot, Victor Garber, Marcia Gay Harden, the list goes on and on and on. To be able to have actors of this incredible talent and stature come in and just do these wonderful roles and knock them out of the park. It couldn't have been more thrilling.
Well, good for you. Congratulations again for all the great work you've done.
In creating these disparate women, these separate women, I didn't want all their dilemmas to be the same. Back in the day, 30 years ago, there's always that thing of when a woman gets to be 40 years old in Hollywood. And this is the essence of Elise's dilemma, who is played by Goldie. The realization of where she is in that moment in her career, in her life. There was a scene with Elizabeth Berkley, and she just strokes her face, looking at this younger actress who is going to be playing the role that Elise thought she was going to be playing. The look on Goldie's face, there's so much going on there. I remember one particular line that Bette, as Brenda, said when her son tells her that Morty, her former husband, is getting remarried.
Oh, well, yeah, I can see where that would rip your heart out.
That scene, in my head, was very sort of uproarious, had a lot of grit and a lot of yelling and everything, but Bette took it to a very quiet place, and it was stunning, and it was so much better than anything that had been in my head. So that's just an example of how thrilling it is to throw your work out there and then have somebody give it back to you in a much more interesting and intriguing way. I think one of the things that made Diane's portrayal of Annie so rich, having just become a mother herself, Diane was really tapping into something that was completely unique to her and really enlightened what she was doing and bringing to the role. That was so different than what Bette as Brenda was doing and Goldie as Elise was doing. So it was really, really amazing to watch. There were many surprises along the way. And this was way after, I'd written this script and all. At the end of the film, the women have come together to open the Cynthia Swan Women's Center, which is a tribute to their dear friend, and it's a very glitzy affair. The producers had this idea that what if the ultimate, at this point in our history, the ultimate first wife stepped out of a limo and just walked into this party. So they reached out to Princess Diana.
What, huh?
She was aware that this had been offered her, but the palace had said no, because the palace, I guess they thought, a princess stepping out of a limo going into a party might make them look bad, and those were the days.
Oh my God, is there someone else?
A few years ago, I was waiting for baggage claim at LAX, and I noticed across the baggage claim was Ivana Trump. So I went over and reintroduced myself. I said, first of all, I want to thank you for that great line.
Don't get mad, get everything.
I didn't write that. Ivana Trump wrote that. And she laughed, and she says, oh, I still get residual checks. I'm an actress,
She's a bright new star.
We should sing again.
Well,
blend. Come on,
all of us all together, real loud, okay?
Yeah.
You're gonna sing with me, all right?
The thing that I think that really caught me was when the music came in, which of course I didn't write, but someone along the line, and this was a smarter person than me, said, hey, wait a minute. Goldie sings, Diane sings, and Bette sings too. We've got all these singers, let's do something with it. So they brought in Mark Shaman. Mark is absolutely a genius. He took that iconic number and just lifted it and put it in these characters' personas. Think of what the movie had been if nobody had said, hey, wait a minute, they sing. Let's find them a song.
What's next?
The idea of a sequel, there were some conversations. I remember being with, talking to Bette about it. But here's the thing. When the audience sees my work, I like to leave them imagining what continues, because we've taken these women, we've empowered them, we sent them out into the world. And I couldn't quite figure out, what would you do? Would you knock them down again so they could re-empower themselves again? I don't want to see that. They've been empowered. They're girls out there doing it, getting it done. So I don't want to mess with that.
They really are amazing women.
The characters, if we met them now, I think Bette and Morty found their true happiness. He has realized what a jewel he has, and she's shining for him. Elise, played by Goldie, would be doing incredibly complex, wonderful female roles and winning more Oscars. Diane's character, Annie, hopefully is running the Cynthia Swan Guidance Center, and, wouldn't surprise me if she was a senator, or at the very least in some good president's cabinet.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. It's funny, when you do something as a writer, at least I don't think about what the reaction's going to be. I hope you put something out there that people respond to, and the fact that the film sort of, it just exploded when it came out. It was the cover of People and think pieces, and people were writing all sorts of things about the meaning of empowerment and female strength and all of that. I was in New Orleans one Halloween, and I was walking down Bourbon Street, going to something or other, and coming towards me from one street, there were all the women dressed up as the characters in Steel Magnolias, and then coming just completely unrelated, coming down another street were the three women from First Wives Club, and I'm going, this is surreal.
Look at this, isn't this fantastic?
Looking back, it's been almost 30 years now. I'm incredibly proud that we came together with these amazing talents and told a story of of women empowerment, which is what Sherry's objective was, and it still resonates today. People enjoy this film. It still speaks to an audience decades later. I feel very proud of that. I've written a lot of women because I've known a lot of wonderful women, and I'm so glad to be able to celebrate them. But to celebrate these characters' triumphs, I can't even really put it into words when people still come up to you and something that you can remember struggling with trying to write 30 years ago still speaks to people that weren't even born then. I mean, come on. And then again, when you're a writer in Hollywood and one Saturday morning in September, somebody like Sherry Lansing, the head of Paramount Studios, wakes you up with a phone call that says, "We've got the #1 movie in America." You know, you don't get better than that.